You could see more than just candidates on this fall's ballot. You may be asked what you think about legalizing marijuana.
And plans to increase how much it costs to park in Madison's residential neighborhoods are moving forward at the City County building.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to News 3 This Morning, 6 o'clock right now on this Thursday, June 14th.
It's been a really nice sunrise again this morning, and fortunately for us, it's not an omen for like the super hot weather to come.
No, not today.
Not today.
That is coming tomorrow, but I do have a time lapse of the sunrise this morning. It was beautiful. This is from the station looking to the east. As we put it in motion, just that little bit of cloud cover made for some brilliant oranges, reds, and purples in the sky for a short time this morning. Sun is up right now. Skies are partly cloudy across southern Wisconsin. There are a few showers still showing up on the radar map. I should say they're pretty isolated right now. The bulk of the rain is to our west and will remain there today. Our forecast actually looks pretty nice with partly sunny skies, highs in the low 80s this afternoon. There's an outside chance for rain today west of Madison. Otherwise, our traffic this morning, your first alert traffic maps have been pretty quiet so far, and that trend continues. Just a few brake lights showing up on the Beltline at Stoughton Road. That's pretty typical for this time of the day. Otherwise, no accidents to report. So nothing to slow you down heading into Madison, except those construction zones.
Which are everywhere.
They are. They're all over.
It feels like they're barrels and trucks and cranes.
They say 2 seasons, right? Winter and road construction.
I thought it was hunting and road construction.
All right, whatever.
Either way, there's orange everywhere.
Anyway.
There you go. All right, thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
We start the news this hour in Madison on the east side, where police are investigating 2 separate shootings happening within an hour of one another.
Madison detectives actually believe one of those cases was an attempted murder. Leah Linschide's in the newsroom this morning for us with the latest. Good morning.
Yes, 2 different shootings, 2 people in the hospital, lots of new information overnight. Let's start with that attempted homicide. Police say there's a 32-year-old man in the hospital in that case. He showed up there after an apparent shooting on Atwood Avenue at the KIPP Corporation around 11 last night. At the scene, police found shell casings, but no suspects. And 45 minutes later, another shooting, this one involving a 15-year-old girl. It happened 2.5 miles away at the Quick Trip on Buckeye Road just before midnight. Police think that shooting was an accident, but the girl is in serious condition this morning. Now, 2 very different cases, but again, both happening within 45 minutes and 3 miles of one another. Police are still investigating both of those shootings.
It'll be interesting to see what happens going forward. We'll have any updates later today on channel3000.com. Leah, thank you.
Madison police are also investigating a shots fired incident on the city's far east side where at least 3 houses were hit by bullets yesterday. Neighbors told our crews on the scene that they heard those shots whizzing by. This happened right around dinner time near the corner of Ryder and Portage Roads. 2 of the homes damaged did have people inside, but no one was hurt. Police found multiple shell casings from 2 different kinds of guns, and they are still looking for suspects this morning.
To politics now, voters in Dane County could be asked what they think about legalizing marijuana for recreational use later on this fall. Now, this would not change any laws. It would simply gauge how Dane County voters feel about this issue. The measure still needs to be approved by the county board by mid-August to get it on the November ballot. The newly elected supervisor, Yogesh Chawla, represents the east side of the Isthmus. He's the one who's proposing asking Dane County voters if marijuana should be legalized, taxed, and regulated like alcohol for adults 21 and older. Rock County is considering a similar referendum for this fall's ballot. Milwaukee County has already authorized putting it in front of its voters.
Dane County is looking forward to starting a program later this summer that would help inmates when they leave jail and hopefully prevent them from going back. That program would be voluntary, providing case management and peer support to transition those individuals back into the community. High-risk offenders and inmates with a history of mental illness or substance abuse will be prioritized in this program. Tonight, Dane County's Health and Human Needs Committee is set to approve a $110,000 contract for Urban Ministries to run some of those services. Another group will talk about a proposal to officially ban what's known as conversion therapy in Madison. So conversion therapy describes a process meant to forcefully change someone's sexual orientation. Under the ordinance that's being proposed, anyone caught practicing that kind of therapy could be fined anywhere from $500 to $1,000 here in the city. The Board of Health for Madison and Dane County will take a look at that at its meeting starting at 5 p.m.
The group in charge of overseeing care for preschoolers and babies in Madison meets today to talk about the increased number of families who are eligible for child care tuition. Members are also going to hear about new research on how to deal with mental health concerns, particularly for younger kids. First Lady Tanette Walker has talked about implementing trauma-informed care throughout the state. The approach focuses on what led to a child's behavior rather than punishing them for acting out. 5 minutes after the hour right now, the largest rooftop solar energy project in Wisconsin is going to end up lowering tuition for thousands of Madison College students this fall.
About 250 solar panels are already in place, with another 5,000 to be put in place over the summer. This project is expected to save Madison College more than $200,000 a year in electricity costs, and college administrators say they're going to be passing those savings along to their students.
Save the taxpayers money because it helps produce electricity for the school. So on a sunny day in July, it'll produce about 60% of the school's electric load.
So that was Ken Walls right there, and he added that a lot of people you see working on this project are actually former students of Madison College. The solar system will also help provide an opportunity for students studying renewable energy on campus. All in all, this project will cost just over $3 million.
Plans to increase the cost of parking in Madison's residential neighborhoods are moving forward to the Common Council. City's Transit and Parking Commission approved a recommendation to increase the annual price for residential parking permits from $28 to $42. Those permits allow drivers to park on the street for longer than the posted time limits. If it is approved, it would be the first rate hike in 2 years. Supporters say the increased cost covers enforcement now that parking has shifted from the city's police department to its traffic department.
City leaders will get an update later today on what's been a really slow process to get high-speed internet. The $200 million fiber to premises program for citywide broadband was first pitched by Mayor Soglin 3 years ago. Since then, the city has run into some problems actually implementing that plan. That includes terminating a $500,000 contract for a pilot program in December when the company in charge provided service to less than 20 people instead of the 1,000 people they were supposed to connect. Despite that, the city still hopes to move forward on the proposal. Another city group will take a look at the mayor's pitch to temporarily ban any new liquor licenses downtown. Mayor Paul Soglin says heavy drinking is the main reason police are responding to more violence around State Street late at night. In December, he vetoed an alcohol license for the Taco Bell Cantina on State Street. The company that owns the fast food franchise is now suing the city, accusing the mayor of being arbitrary, discriminatory, and unreasonable in his decision. The Equal Opportunities Commission will take a look at the liquor license ban later tonight. 6:07 right now. Coming up, we'll share a call for action story as a local woman struggles to get a major airline to reimburse her. This after a hurricane wiped out plans to travel with her dying father. Leah's here in a couple minutes with the lesson everyone should be watching for.
And we're in for another terrific forecast day that's changing, though, as we get closer to the weekend. Hattie's First Alert Weather is coming up next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning from the Patio on this Friday Eve. We have a beautiful start to the day today. Sunshine early this morning, a little bit of cloud cover in the area, but it shouldn't bother you too much today. Best chance to see more clouds will be west of Madison. We have alert days in the forecast, though, starting tomorrow through the weekend for very hot and humid conditions. There's also an isolated threat for a strong thunderstorm tomorrow, but Saturday and Sunday will be the warmest days with highs in the low to mid 90s. That'll be pretty close to record highs for Madison. And again, it's going to be a pretty hot and humid Father's Day across the entire region. Here's a look at Doppler track showing you that there is pretty widespread rain breaking out across parts of central Iowa this morning. The general track on those showers and thunderstorms, though, is to the south and east. Out ahead of them, we have seen a few isolated showers here in southern Wisconsin, but I think isolated is the key word. Now, there's a chance that some of those storms to our west may clip the areas near the Mississippi River Valley today, but most of southern Wisconsin will stay dry. Our temperatures this morning starting right around 60 in Platteville, 63 in Monroe, and 61 in Janesville. Elsewhere, temperatures are generally in the 50s. Dew points are in the 50s as well, which is great news. That means it's pretty comfortable outside. And no increasing trend with those dew points over the next 12 hours. They'll hold pretty steady in the mid-50s. So one more comfortable day. There are some pretty oppressive dew points, though, on the map to the south. Parts of southern Missouri and much of eastern Kansas this morning dealing with dew points in the 70s. That's where we'll be this weekend. Here's a look at our forecast a little closer to home this morning. Future track showing you a bit of cloud cover moving across the area from time to time. Temperatures will warm through the 70s pretty quickly today to right around 81 here in Madison. Now, there may be a little bit more cloud cover to the west, keeping temperatures in the 70s there. Otherwise, very comfortable for the evening. No rain in the forecast this evening, but overnight, some showers and thunderstorms may develop as a warm front pushes through the area. That warm front will lift northward and signal a big uptick in our temperatures for tomorrow. We're going to be in the mid to upper 80s tomorrow, and then a chance for some rain mainly north of Madison Friday night. Here's a look at that extended forecast. Get ready for the heat and humidity. It is on the way. Highs in the 90s this weekend and still in the upper 80s on Monday. So we may even need to add Monday as an alert day. After that, though, it does cool down to highs in the 80s. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Yeah, well, we're actually watching a fire. The right lane of I-39-90 northbound is closed at mile marker 167. That's near Milton because of a vehicle fire. I would expect some delays in that area. There's a quiet start, though, on the Madison roadways. The Beltline moving well so far in both directions. Heading anywhere eastbound, though, make sure you grab the shades. The sun is out and very bright, making it difficult to see. Checking out Dane County, there are a few brake lights popping up on the northbound side of Rona Road near the Beltline ramps. That's going to slow you down an extra minute or two. Looking good downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. Volume not a factor quite yet. Other main routes heading into the city, including on the interstate, are cruising along at the usual speeds with no major issues. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you, Hattie. A Madison woman is waiting for a $7,000 check to come in the mail, thanks to a successful call for action case here at News 3.
And there could be some lessons we can all learn from her frustrations with a popular airline. Our Leah Linscheid has her call for action and really what the rest of us should be taking away from this. Leah?
Yeah, after more than 8 months of struggling with her airline to get that money back, Michelle is finally expecting that $7,000 reimbursement. Now, here's the backstory. Her father, deathly ill, requested that his kids and their families take a dream vacation to St. Thomas over the holidays last year. But when the island was shut down after hurricanes hit there, American Airlines refused to change her $7,000 plane tickets, saying because she bought them through a third party, they couldn't reimburse her. American Airlines ultimately changed her tickets to Florida after more money exchanged hands. But when her family showed up at the airport, only her young son was being allowed to board.
I felt taken advantage of, and I didn't really feel like I had a choice because my father is important to me and this was important to him.
Michelle ultimately spent $3,000 more to fly to Florida to see her dad the next day. As this story was set to air, American Airlines told us it plans to fully reimburse her. Now, here's the question for all of us. If Michelle had bought travel insurance, would any of this have even happened? Well, we're going to ask the folks over at AAA to get that answer and let you know if travel insurance is worth that extra cost on your next trip.
It's always something I hesitate. Do I? Do I not? Is it worth it? Because there are those situations.
We're going to cover exactly what it covers. That's coming up tonight on News 3 at 10.
Interesting. All right. Thanks, Leah. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
There is, at 6:15 right now, there's a new campaign that's starting up today that might have you trying to figure out what people are saying on social media. Coming up, We'll share what blood donation has to do with leaving something out of posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter later today.
If you have any gardening to do, a hike to take, a bike ride to go on, today is the day because the heat and humidity is coming back very soon. Hattie is also watching the radar for chances of storms. She will update her forecast next on News 3 this morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. A beautiful start to this Thursday morning and a gorgeous day ahead. Take a live look from the Edgewater Skycam. We have partly sunny skies here in Madison this morning. Dew points are still in the 50s, so humidity is low. It's expected to remain low through the day. Temperatures will climb through the 60s pretty quickly into the mid and upper 70s by lunchtime today. Highs will be just a little bit warmer than that, in the low 80s in some spots. A little bit of cloud cover west of Madison may keep temperatures in the 70s there. Overall, though, very comfortable through the evening as temperatures drop back to around 70 by 10 p.m. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Your time right now, 6:20, and an organization that's helped thousands of cancer patients with their treatment and recovery is celebrating 10 years of service later today. Gilda's Club is throwing a big bash to mark the milestone here in the Madison community. This event is sold out, but there's a free dance that's open to the public. You do not need to RSVP for that event. Just show up between 8 and 10 at the Edgewater Grand Plaza for fun and fundraising. Gilda's Club helps cancer patients across 28 counties here in Wisconsin, offering a community of free emotional support to people after a diagnosis.
A new campaign being launched today by the American Red Cross hopes to encourage more blood donors to actually get out and donate. It's called the Missing Types campaign. It hopes to raise awareness for the need of type A, B, and O blood. Now, part of this campaign includes removing those 3 letters from posts that you see on social media, from websites and logos, just to show how important those blood types are. The Red Cross says the number of blood donors overall has gone down by 80,000 people per year. Every year over the last 4 years, they're having an especially tough time getting donations during the summer when more people are traveling and students are on break. Meanwhile, we wanted to remind you of a specific blood drive happening later today. It's in honor of Middleton Scott Kirkpatrick, who was involved in a serious car accident last year after he had a heart attack while driving. We met Scott, we met his wife, talked with the Red Cross about this earlier this week on News 3 this morning. You may remember Scott was able to survive, and he's recovering after multiple medical procedures, and he needed multiple transfusions when getting that heart transplant. His drive runs from noon until 6 today. This is to support the American Red Cross. It is at St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Middleton. Very good guy.
Yeah, an amazing story, too. If you want to see it, it's up on channel3000.com.
Yeah, 6:22 almost right now. We're learning more this morning about a Wisconsin woman who's accused of recruiting for ISIS. We'll share the details of the day's top stories here in a couple of minutes.
Including the latest on the efforts to reverse the murder conviction of a Wisconsin man made famous by Netflix. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
Madison police detectives are looking into 3 separate shootings on the city's east side over the last 12 hours. 2 people, including a teenager, are in the hospital.
And 20 schools and school districts have more money to invest in student safety this morning, and Madison hopes it's next.
This is News 3 this morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 this morning. 6:25 now on this Thursday, June 14th.
We've got another really nice day in store today before things start to change. And I've talked about it as a sauna that we're going to be entering into. Hattie McLean's out on the patio this morning with the latest. Good morning, kiddo.
Good morning. Yeah, not bad this morning. We have beautiful conditions and one more day ahead with comfortable weather. After that, the heat and humidity, or the sauna, as Adam puts it, return. A live look from the Edgewater Skycam this morning, downtown Madison. You'll see the sun is shining on all the buildings. A little bit of cloud cover overhead. Skies will be partly sunny today. There's a large complex of storms across Iowa this morning. Movement on these storms, though, is expected to be more southeasterly than easterly. So while there's an outside chance some of those storms may clip southwestern Wisconsin, most areas are expected to stay dry. There'll just be a little bit more cloud cover than we had yesterday. Temperatures will climb to highs right around 80 degrees later on this afternoon. Should top at 81 here in Madison. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. There is a vehicle fire on the northbound side of the interstate. This is near Milton, right around mile marker 167. Again, it has the right lane blocked due to that vehicle fire, so be aware of that if you're in that location. Otherwise, closer to Madison, no issues to report just yet. Travel into Madison, of course, a little slower on the interstate due to that vehicle fire and the construction. Otherwise, travel looking good heading into the city. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. 6:27 right now. New this morning, Madison police are looking for the person behind an attempted murder on the city's Near East Side. A 32-year-old man's in the hospital with serious injuries. Detectives say he was shot near the KIPP Corporation on Atwood Avenue around 11 o'clock last night. That victim is expected to be okay. A teenager is also in the hospital this morning with serious gunshot wound after she was shot at the Quick Trip on Buckeye Road just before midnight. Now, police think the shooting of that 15-year-old was an accident. We'll have any update later today on channel3000.com.
Madison police are also investigating a shots fired situation on the city's Far East Side yesterday that happened about 6 hours before these other shootings. At least 3 houses were hit by bullets. Neighbors say they could hear those shots whizzing by.
This was legit. There were kids out. There were like bicyclists. Most of the people didn't know what was going on. They just kind of kept going even after things, but there were bullets flying.
This happened right around dinner time near the corner of Ryder and Portage Roads. 2 of the homes damaged had people inside, but no one was hurt. Police found multiple shell casings from 2 different kinds of guns. They are still looking for a suspect this morning. A Wisconsin woman will be back in federal court tomorrow after being charged with recruiting for ISIS online. The FBI says 45-year-old Wahiba Isa Days of Cudahy hacked social media accounts to provide support and resources to that terror organization. According to court documents, Days also provided instructions on how to make explosives, biological weapons, and suicide vests. The Jerusalem native came to the U.S. in 1992 after marrying a U.S. citizen. A judge is scheduled to set her bail tomorrow.
The U.S. Supreme Court will not immediately look at a Wisconsin murder case made famous by the documentary that millions of people watched on Netflix. Leah Lynch sharing an update this morning on Making a Murderer's Brenda Dassey. Good morning.
I know I binge watched this. A lot of people in our newsroom binge watched this. So you might remember the name Brendan Dassey. He is still behind bars this morning. Now, if you're not one of the millions who did watch that documentary, Dassey was convicted of helping his uncle rape and kill Teresa Halbach up in the Manitowoc area back in 2005. He was 16 at the time, and his lawyers say investigators coerced him into confessing. Now they want the Supreme Court to take a look at a lower court's ruling that his confession was voluntary. Today is when judges were supposed to hold a conference on Dassey's case, but the court's docket shows it's been rescheduled. There's no reason behind it and no new date set either. 4 of the 9 justices have to agree to hear that case before it's scheduled.
And it's already gone through multiple judges, the Wisconsin Supreme Court as well. I know a lot of people are talking about this.
Oh, it's been in the court system for months. Lots of folks keeping an eye on it since that documentary came out, so we'll also continue to keep an eye on it.
For sure. All right, Leah, thank you.
You're welcome.
6:30 right now. 20 school districts around the state are looking to make some security upgrades starting today with grant money awarded yesterday by the state. They will collectively get more than $1.3 million out of a total $100 million initiative. The Barneveld and Mauston districts are 2 of those districts that got some money yesterday, awarded by Attorney General Brad Schimmel in an official announcement. The goal is to have those security upgrades in place before students come back in the fall. More schools will receive money from the initiative over the next few weeks, and the Madison Metropolitan School District is hoping it is on that next list. Those in charge of student safety and security asked the state for nearly $1 million to help pay for a multi-million-dollar upgrade. They're hoping to receive that grant in the next month or so. $4.1 million would go toward electronic locks in Madison classrooms, and $2 million would pay for that technology on exterior doors at the schools. About $500,000 would cover nearly 500 new security cameras.
State transportation officials will sit down with lawmakers today to try to figure out how to pay for road repairs and construction around the state. Specifically, they're going to be talking about how to pay for proposed road work on I-94 near the soon-to-be-built Foxconn factory in southeast Wisconsin. Federal government gave Wisconsin tens of millions of dollars less than what Governor Walker had originally asked for. The governor wants to make up that difference by using money from the Transportation's bond program. We'll have an update on the Joint Finance Committee conversation this afternoon on channel3000.com.
6:31 right now, and the Between the Waves Festival starts in Madison today. It's expected to bring thousands of people into the downtown area to talk about how to make it by making music.
Making it in music.
Making
How cool
it
would
in
that
music.
be? The goal behind this event is to keep local musicians local instead of losing them to places like Nashville, Hollywood. News 3's Christina Laurie. Chicago joins us live from the conference headquarters on campus this morning with more. Good morning.
Good morning, Adam and Danica. What sets the Between the Waves Music Festival apart from all of the other ones that you mentioned is that it focuses as much on education as it does on entertainment. It's also aptly named since Madison itself is situated between two lakes, and waves can refer to sound waves as in music as well. The event's founder hopes his festival and conference will once again draw big crowds, musicians, educators, and music industry leaders, many who have local ties. Between the Waves is sponsored by both the City of Madison and the UW, but its founder says the event pours a lot back into the local community as well. At a 4-day-long conference, music lovers will learn how to succeed in the ever-changing, highly competitive music industry. The hope is that events like this will not only benefit Madison this weekend, but in the future, funneling talent to the city and promoting local talent elsewhere.
What we're trying to do is bring the industry here and then push folks out as well. In fact, just this last January we took about 15 people to a big trade show in LA to make connections. And this isn't only about the musicians, but this is about the business of music. We have some great businesses in town and some people interested in getting into that business. So that's what this is about.
Some of the most anticipated acts at this year's festival are a Friday night hip-hop showcase at the High Noon Saloon featuring a lineup of MCs who either work in Madison or who have made a significant impact on the local music community, as well as a rapper, Broadway Muse, who's a graduate of UW-Madison's First Wave program. And the great news, if you're a student, you can get into both the festival and the conference here at the Gordon Event Center for free. If you're not a student, however, you'll have to pay $20 to attend the festival and $89 to attend the conference. I have links to how you can get tickets or pre-register on our website, channel3000.com.
The city is sponsoring this event, $25,000 of city money going into this. It's a big initiative for them to try to expand the music scene here and make sure musicians do stay. So Christina Laurie reporting from campus. Thanks, Christina.
6:34 right now. Dane County voters could have the chance to vote on the idea of legalizing marijuana this fall. We'll share the latest in the morning sprint.
And we'll have an update on the group of Madison area volunteers helping bring clean drinking water to an impoverished part of the world. Thanks for watching News 3 this morning.
Good morning and welcome back, everybody. 6:37 right now on this Thursday morning, the time of the morning we always ask you to share a little bit of your morning with us. And the picture Jennifer Harris shared on Facebook is leading to a lot of questions here this morning. So this is a kiwi vine. Hattie didn't realize the kiwi was grown on a vine. You were wondering whether or not this was a picture from the tropics, from California or New Zealand. I personally would like to know where I could eat some kiwi, because
now I'm hungry for kiwi.
Love myself some kiwi. So Jennifer, thank you very much for sharing, and maybe you'll share some answers to those questions.
That would be, I was just about to say that. We want to know all about this plant right here. So again, thank you, Jennifer. What does your morning look like? Share a picture, post it, whatever fruit you're growing.
Yeah.
Post it on our Channel 3000 Facebook Twitter or Instagram accounts. Whatever you do, use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We share our favorites every morning here on the show.
It is June 14th today. It is Flag Day, and a group of local veterans are recognizing that event by sharing the inspiration behind their military-themed Bucky on Parade statue. Full Fatigues Bucky is located inside the Wisconsin Veterans Museum, where State Street meets Capitol Square. It is decked out with images of combat and military life, honoring those who have served our country throughout history. The artists behind that Bucky are going to share some of those stories in honor of Flag Day starting at 11 o'clock this morning at the museum.
That's a really cool one right there. Friends, family, and fans are all sending off the Wisconsin Heights Barneveld girls soccer team today ahead of the team's first ever state championship run. This is awesome. The Vanguards are heading to Milwaukee today to play against Cedar Grove High in the WIAA state semifinals, Division 4. That game is tomorrow, 11 a.m. The entire community, though, is being encouraged to wear purple and green today to help support those ladies, and also show up as they board the bus at 3:15 this afternoon. They will leave around 3:30 from Wisconsin Heights High School. Congrats to them.
Yes.
So we wanted to update you on a church group from Mount Horeb that's in Honduras right now, helping people get access to a really basic resource that we often take for granted.
The volunteers don't have access to clean water. News 3 This Morning photojournalist Mark Schilling is one of those volunteers. So we're having some trouble with Mark's audio there, but they have a hygiene team there. They were visited by a number of kids who taught them about the importance of good hygiene and clean water. They're drilling 70 feet into the ground to get a fresh water well to bring water up to this group. There's Mark right there. Hundreds of millions of people around the world have to walk more than 3.5 miles every day to get water. The Mount Horeb volunteers, as we mentioned, are digging that well as part of their mission trip for a group called Living Water International. We thank Mark, and we thank the group of volunteers down there, too. It's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
20 minutes to 7 right now, tailgating outside Miller Park yesterday. We were saying just how perfect a day it was. Today might even be better. However, and Hattie, sorry to say there is a however, we're about to go into the proverbial sauna over the weekend. Her first alert forecast is coming up next.
First, though, it is June 14th, and we want to say happy birthday to Edwin and all the other kids turning 3 out there. Thanks so much, too, for sending a piece of cake over to WISC-TV. Attention, Danica Lewis, 7025 Raymond Road. Just kidding. Well, kind of. If Hattie has anything to do with it, the frosting will be a big, deciding factor there. News 3 This Morning. We'll be right back.
We're taking a live look this morning at the interstate near Milton this morning. You're seeing the slow go of cars there, long backup because there was a car fire that was blocking one lane heading north toward Madison. State troopers are expecting this to take about an hour to clear up. We'll have another traffic update here in about 10 minutes or so. Dane County could be creating a new position to help keep our lakes and waterways clean. The county's Environment, Agriculture, and Natural Resources Committee will vote this afternoon on creating a new erosion control specialist position in its Land and Water Resources Department. The job would be partially paid for through a grant from the Clean Lakes Alliance. That person would conduct inspections of construction sites and review erosion control plans. For now, that job's temporary, but the department hopes to make it permanent in next year's budget.
All right, your time right now, almost 6:45. Let's turn it over to Hattie McLean with a look at this gorgeous day outside. Good morning, Hads.
Good morning, Danica and Adam. Yes, and here's a beautiful picture to start with this morning. Ruth Ann sent this in just a few minutes ago of a double rainbow that she took at her house in Janesville. Now, probably didn't see any raindrops with that rainbow this morning, but there have been a few isolated showers trying to work their way into southern Wisconsin, most of them not actually hitting the ground. There is some more significant rain to the west across much of central Iowa. Showers and thunderstorms have been ongoing for the last several hours. Movement of this activity will be to slide to the south and east, not so much easterly over the next 24 hours. While there is an outside chance for some of that rain to clip far southwestern Wisconsin, most of our area will stay dry today. Here's a look at future track as that rain continues. It will track southeasterly through the day today. Look for partly sunny skies and pretty comfortable conditions. Now, the air behind this warm front is very warm and humid, and watch that front as it moves into southern Wisconsin overnight tonight. It may set off some showers and thunderstorms, but then really open the door for hot and humid conditions starting on Friday, lasting through the entire weekend. So it is going to be very hot around here. We have alert days in the forecast for Friday, Saturday, and Father's Day Sunday. May even have to add Monday if it looks like that heat will stick around a little bit longer. But right now it looks like Saturday and Sunday will be the warmest days with heat index values getting into the triple digits. No triple digits today. 57 here in Madison this morning, 59 in the Dells, 64 this morning in Mineral Point. Dew points are for the most part in the 50s though, so a very comfortable start to the day. No climbing with those numbers on the dew point trend today. Our dew point over the next 12 hours will stay in the middle 50s. Here's a look at your pinpoint city forecast highs today. 77 in New Glarus. Middleton tops right around 80 degrees with partly sunny skies. And then as we head over to the west, a little bit more cloud cover. We'll keep temperatures in the 70s there. To the north, though we still could see some 80s, especially in Aceta, topping right around 80. Montello and Poinet as well, topping at 80 degrees. Here in Madison, we'll climb to a high of 81 this afternoon. Temperatures will then heat up. By tomorrow morning, it may already feel a little bit humid. The heat and humidity will build through the weekend and even possibly into the first part of next week. A stronger cold front will break the heat, though, as we head towards the middle of next week. Here's our pet. Charlie. Is Charlie sitting in a basket?
He is. He's so teeny.
He's so cute.
He's just comfy in his basket.
Bundled up in a blanket. Yeah. I don't think he needs a blanket today, but cute nonetheless.
That is cute. Look at those ears. Thanks, Ads.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's up next on News 3 this morning.
6:50 right now, time for the morning sprint. Hattie says it'll be another nice day before chances for storms and really hot temperatures move in. Lee is updating us on a Wisconsin murder case made famous by Netflix that may not be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court.
And Christina Laurie's live on the UW campus to tell us about an educational conference for area musicians. But we start on Madison's east side, where detectives are looking for the people responsible for shooting up 3 homes. This happened around dinner time Wednesday night at the corner of Reeder and Portage Roads. That's a couple blocks off Stoughton Road, right near the Sandberg Woods open space. Detectives believe 2 suspects each had guns, and that the incident was not random. 2 of those homes hit by bullets had people inside at the time.
Hours later, detectives responded to an attempted homicide on Madison's east side. A 32-year-old man is in the hospital this morning after that shooting in the KIPP Corporation parking lot around 11 o'clock last night. Police found shell casings at the scene, but no suspects. A teenage girl is also being treated for serious gunshot wounds this morning after another shooting on the east side. This one happened just before midnight at the Quick Trip on Buckeye Road. Police believe this shooting was an accident.
Voters in Dane County could be asked what they think about legalizing marijuana for recreational use later this year. Now, this would not change any laws, but it would give county politicians an idea how voters feel about the issue. The measure still needs to be approved by the county board by mid-August to get it on the November ballot. Rock County and Milwaukee County are considering similar referenda for this fall's elections.
The U.S. Supreme Court might or might not take up the murder case made famous by a Netflix documentary. Brendan Dassey is still behind bars, convicted of helping his uncle rape and kill Teresa Halbach back in 2005. His lawyers say investigators coerced his confession when he was just 16. The U.S. Supreme Court was supposed to hold a conference on Dassey's case today, but it's no longer on the court docket, and there's no new date set. 4 of the 9 justices have to agree to hear that case before it's scheduled.
Leah, thank you. A Dane County committee will vote later today to pay Urban Ministries $110,000 to run services aimed at keeping people out of the jail system. This program would provide case management and peer support to help transition individuals back into the community. High-risk offenders and inmates with a history of mental illness or substance abuse will be prioritized in this program that's set to start later this summer.
The big story in Washington today will be the release of the Justice Department report on how top federal officials handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation. That report from the department's internal watchdogs intended to be a nonpartisan look at how the Justice Department and FBI operated during the investigation. It is expected to call former FBI Director James Comey insubordinate for his actions leading up to the 2016 presidential election. President Trump has repeatedly said he believes the FBI botched that investigation.
The Between the Waves Music Festival and Conference returns to Madison and the Gordon Dining and Events Center this weekend, focusing on both education and entertainment. Musicians, educators, and music industry leaders, many with local ties, will band together for an immersive experience built on inspiration, instruction, network, and support. At the 4-day-long conference, they'll explore topics ranging from songwriting and music technology to the business side, marketing, creative arts law, and revenue streams. Students can get into the festival and conference for free if they pre-register. Otherwise, it costs the public $20 for non-students and $89 to attend the conference.
And we're starting with some sunshine today. The best view this morning is from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Blue sky overhead there. We're looking at temperatures climbing through the 60s and 70s pretty rapidly this morning, topping in the low 80s this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Should be a nice night for the Madison Night Market. We want to remind drivers that West Gilman between University and North Henry Street will close starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're talking about the stretch from Wando's Bar past Peace Park. The night market goes from 6 until 11 tonight, but Gilman will be closed until 1 o'clock this morning for cleanup. This is the 2nd year for that market. It continues every 2nd Thursday of the month through September.
20 school districts around Wisconsin are looking to start making security upgrades today thanks to money from the State Justice Department. Those districts include Barneveld and Boston. They're collectively going to get more than $1.3 million. State lawmakers authorized spending $100 million on school safety earlier this spring.
The Madison Metropolitan School District is hoping it's on the next list of grant recipients. Madison's hoping the state covers about $1 million of the $6 million project to install electronic locks in classrooms and exterior doors in the schools and add hundreds of new security cameras. The district hopes to hear from the state about that money in the next month or so.
Plans to increase the cost of parking in Madison's residential neighborhoods are moving forward to the Common Council. City's Transit and Parking Commission approved a recommendation to increase the annual price for residential parking permits from $28 to $42. Those permits allow drivers to park on the street for longer than the posted time limits. If approved, it would be the first rate hike in 2 years. Supporters say the increased cost covers enforcement now that parking has shifted responsibility for it from the police department to the city's traffic department.
The American Red Cross is launching the Missing Types campaign to raise awareness for the need for type A, B, and O blood. Part of that includes removing those 3 letters from posts on social media, websites, and logos to show just how important they are. The Red Cross says the number of blood donors has gone down by 80,000 people per year over the past 4 years.
6:56 right now. We've just received word from the State Patrol that a car fire that caused some problems inside the construction zone on the interstate near Milton has actually been cleared, but let's see what kind of an impact it's having on traffic this morning. Let's check in with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, that vehicle fire earlier this morning still jamming things up. Some very heavy delays showing up starting at the Highway 26 exit in Janesville. It looks like it's going to be a while before that all gets cleared up, so I would take a different route if possible. The Beltline picking up on the westbound side. 2 delays near Monona Drive, adding an extra minute or 2. Inbound John Nolan starting to tap the brakes between Rimrock and Olin Avenue. That's going to add a few minutes as well. Other main routes heading into the city, they're cruising along at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And the view outside this morning is pretty nice. You'll want your sunglasses today. We have temperatures that are starting in the 50s and 60s. Here's a look at our forecast then for today. We have temperatures that will climb to highs in the low 80s this afternoon under partly sunny skies. An outside chance for a shower or thunderstorm, mainly in southwestern Wisconsin. That extended forecast, though, does include several alert days due to the heat and humidity that will arrive tomorrow.
Oof.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is going to be a hot
Get that sprinkler ready.
Thank you, Hattie. We will keep you posted on all of those alert days, that heat coming up, as well as Madison police investigation into 3 separate shooting incidents last night and into this morning. We will be sure to update you on all of that over on channel3000.com and later today on News 3. Have a good one.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.